Psychosocial hazards are a real risk in our workplace, and there's an obligation on employers to protect you as workers from the psychological, the psychosocial risks associated with your work, in the same way as they have to protect you from the physical risks in your work. So it's important that we really understand, though, what are those psychosocial risks? What makes up the psychosocial hazards that we experience in the workplace? And I'm going to go through a series of those to give you just a bit more of an insight and allow you to think about what is it that you might be experiencing in your workplace. So a key psychosocial hazard is the demands of your job. Job demands can really have an impact on your capacity to thrive and your well-being in the workplace. If the demands of your job outstrip the capacity, the time, the resources, then they really start to eat away at your productivity and your well-being. Another psychosocial hazard is low job control. So obviously, we've got a job to do. We need to do what we're asked within our job. But having no control over how you go about that, no autonomy over when and what goes on within the elements of your role is a real impactor. It's a real psychosocial hazard that comes in the workplace. So thinking about, even within the confines of the role that you have, how can you increase your control, your choice, your autonomy over what you do? And this is vital that a conversation happens between managers and workers, the consultation about what is it around job control that is actually causing a workplace hazard. Another key psychosocial hazard is a lack of clarity in your role. Some roles are very clear, got very clear boundaries defined, and you know what you're doing. But in many of our roles, we're putting on multiple hats throughout the day. A lack of role clarity can really start to eat away at your capacity to be productive, at your capacity to feel that you're thriving, you're succeeding, you're excelling in the work that you're doing. So a lack of role clarity can be a contributor to psychosocial hazards and risks. Another critical factor in psychosocial hazards and risks is poor support and poor organizational change or organizational management. So if we don't have the support that we need to do the job effectively, then it can start to pose a risk. So again, this is a vital conversation between the managers and between the employers, between the people in your team, about what is the support that you as an individual need. And these are conversations that we want to be having. In order to thrive in the workplace, we need to be proactive in talking about our needs, and our organizations need to be responsive to ensuring that there is the appropriate and the relevant support within each role. Many of us have probably been through organizational change. Yeah, there's been shifts, there's been restructuring, there's been realignments. Poor organizational change management is a real risk factor for psychosocial safety, psychological safety in the workplace. So as managers, as organizations, it's vital that you consult with staff as you're going through processes of organizational change. A key psychosocial hazard in the work that we do as social workers and in the welfare sector is trauma and exposure to trauma events and trauma materials. Now, as I say many a time, it's not about removing our exposure to trauma, but it is about working in the organization and managers collaborating with the practitioners to ensure that that exposure to clients' trauma and to traumatic materials does not start to have an impact on your health and well-being. Trauma work can be done in a safe and stable environment. It doesn't have to result in vicarious traumatization for the workers. Another key psychosocial hazard that is faced in many workplaces is conflict or poor workplace relations. We are relational beings. Our interactions within the workplace form a great sense of how we experience that working day. So poor, toxic culture, bullying, harassment within the workplace can all play in as major psychosocial hazards for well-being.